You are listening Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Discover the principles of authentic leadership. What creates the structures we see in today's world? Why do certain individuals possess significant influence while others feel powerless? Where do these power dynamics originate? Leaders Eat Last explores these concepts by examining modern society with its technological innovations and intricate systems that can create confusion, alongside the simpler communities our ancestors inhabited millennia ago. Through this comparison, we discover that the separation between leaders and followers emerges naturally from our biological makeup. However, this doesn't guarantee that every person in authority is worthy of that position. What qualities distinguish a leader who deserves to be followed? Uncover this answer and additional insights in this exploration. Have you considered how community naturally organize into leaders and followers? The explanation is surprisingly straightforward. Our biology drives this process. Everything stems from chemical messengers that developed over millions of years to ensure our survival. These chemicals regulate our feelings and guide our actions, influencing us today just as powerfully as they did our ancient ancestors. Dopamine creates feelings of joy and anticipation when we accomplish goals, whether discovering something we've sought or achieving our fitness targets. Meanwhile, serotonin and oxytocin shape our social connections by fostering bonds with others. Endorphins mask fatigue and discomfort with sensations of pleasure. These chemicals explain why we feel energized after intense workouts and eagerly anticipate returning. Long ago, endorphins enabled tribal hunters to persist through exhaustion, bringing sustenance to their communities despite physical strain. Today, they drive elite athletes like marathon runners to reach extraordinary performance levels. Beyond survival benefits, hormone-influenced behaviors establish fundamental patterns of social organization. In hunting-gathering communities, endorphin surges enabled hunters to travel vast distances securing food for everyone, earning them elevated social positions. Those unable to participate in hunts, whether due to physical limitations or other reasons, accepted roles like food gathering. This separation between the capable and less capable marked the beginning of social hierarchies. Yet hormones also strengthen these structures by creating serotonin and oxytocin-induced positive feelings among community members and toward leaders, preventing destructive jealousy. Group living provides crucial advantages for survival, primarily protection from facing dangers alone. This security enables focus on advancement rather than constant threat avoidance. Prehistoric humans encountered constant peril, predators, hostile tribes, diseases, while simultaneously seeking food and shelter. Group living allows task distribution for survival needs, freeing individuals to pursue specialized projects like creating superior tools. These innovations drive societal progress. Our minds have evolved to value safety, explaining why people remain in unsatisfying jobs simply for security. Safety requires leadership. Group leaders establish protective boundaries around community members. This protective boundary encompasses individuals sharing common values and beliefs, committed to mutual protection from external threats. Within these boundaries, members develop trust and combine resources for advancement. Leaders determine the boundaries' extent. Bob Chapman revolutionized management at Hays and Sandiaker by dramatically expanding this protective circle, granting employees unrestricted access to company resources and services. This safe, trusting environment created powerful bonds among staff, who began supporting each other through personal crises. Some even donated vacation days to colleagues in need. Since group membership provides security today as it did for our cave-dwelling ancestors, We require leaders who help us combine resources and achieve progress. CEO stereotypes often focus on deal-making and profit generation. However, successful company management involves cultural creation as much as financial oversight. Companies transcend their physical assets, investors, and workforce. They embody cultures that influence employee problem-solving approaches, customer interactions, and value prioritization. Since leaders like CEOs control operations, they shape organizational culture. Goldman Sachs' history illustrates this concept. From 1970 to 1990, the company embraced long-term greedy philosophy, supporting clients despite short-term financial costs. After the 1990s, CEO Lloyd C. Blankfein and President Gary D. Cohn shifted focus toward immediate profits, even at client expense. Company culture influences entire organizational hierarchies by establishing standards for hiring and retention. The Taj Mahal Palace Hotel exemplifies cultural influence on staff behavior through their principle that guest welfare supersedes company interests. During the 2008 terrorist attack, employees who had initially fled actually returned to assist guests, with some forming human barriers to protect escaping visitors. Half of that day's casualties were hotel staff members. Having examined positive leadership characteristics, we'll now explore the devastating consequences of poor leadership. Authority doesn't guarantee positive influence. When connections between leaders and teams break down, results can be catastrophic. Responsibility fundamentally involves caring for others. When we become disconnected from those under our care, we exercise less caution regarding the harm we cause. Our sense of responsibility derives from empathy, our capacity to understand others' perspectives. Without empathy, we risk becoming emotionally detached from decisions affecting others. Physical separation intensifies this problem, creating abstraction where our actions' consequences seem less real. The Milgram experiment demonstrates abstraction's effects. Volunteers called teachers were instructed to press buttons delivering electric shocks of increasing severity, from mild discomfort to potentially fatal jolts, to other participants called learners. Unknown to teachers, learners were actors not actually receiving shocks. While many participants showed distress about apparently harming learners, Milgram discovered that greater distance between teacher and learner increased willingness to continue. In fact, over half of one group who couldn't see or hear learners, apparent suffering, eventually administered what would have been lethal voltage. Abstraction causes us to prioritize personal interests over others' welfare, leading to decisions that actively harm people. Consider the Titanic's maiden voyage. To management, passenger lives were mere abstractions, leading them to reduce costs by limiting lifeboats. While additional lifeboats wouldn't have prevented the sinking, such callous decision-making contributed to unnecessary deaths. Group membership provides safety and progress opportunities. Conversely, isolation and threat perception make us selfish and cause dehumanization of others. Baby boomers illustrate this clearly, the generation born post-World War II. Raised during economic prosperity and outnumbering their parents' generation, they developed greater selfishness than previous generations. Additionally, younger generations' natural tendency to reject their predecessors' values made baby boomers more self-focused and anti-authoritarian than their parents, who survived war through cooperation. This preference for self-interest over solidarity appeared in baby boomer support for President Ronald Reagan's 1981 air traffic controllers' strike response. Reagan dismissed 11,000 striking workers, supporting companies that opposed controllers' demands for better wages while prioritizing profits over worker welfare. Prioritizing profit above all else leads to dehumanizing others. Technology, enabling global business, contributes to this problem. Because businesses operate on massive scales, it becomes easier to view people as abstractions, consumers, shareholders, or expenses. We're more likely to dehumanize others, seeing them as tools serving specific functions, rather than complex individuals with personal desires and needs. Consider the 2009 salmonella outbreak that killed 9 people and sickened hundreds more. How did this occur? The Peanut Corporation of America shipped contaminated peanuts to over 300 companies, spreading the disease. The truly shocking aspect wasn't accidental contamination. PCA management knowingly shipped tainted peanuts to maintain cash flow. What comes to mind when you hear addiction? Probably substances like alcohol or drugs. Surprisingly, performance addiction is equally real. This addiction connects to our biology. While dopamine release once linked directly to survival, now it rewards job performance, creating satisfaction from improved and faster results. Many companies seeking increased productivity welcome this, often forgetting the stability that long-term objectives provide. America Online demonstrates this concept. Their customer acquisition team created free hour offers to attract new subscribers. Encouraged to focus solely on sign-up numbers, they eventually offered 1,000 free hours monthly. While following instructions, they cost the company significantly by ignoring long-term implications. Additionally, our technology-rich environment has shifted attention from lasting value toward quick satisfaction. Internet-based human rights campaigns illustrate this shift. Liking campaigns or anything on Facebook triggers dopamine responses, creating happiness from task completion. To avoid addiction to these dopamine bursts, we need serotonin and oxytocin-driven sacrifice, actual volunteering, or building real relationships. Technology makes clicking like increasingly easy, while volunteer work remains as challenging as ever. Consequently, we become addicted to quick fixes. Now understanding poor leadership characteristics, these final sections will explore what defines not just leaders, but leaders worth following. What qualities do you associate with effective leadership? You might think of specific skills and expertise that enable excellence. Actually, everything depends on integrity and relationship-building ability. Leaders must earn our trust, requiring integrity. We understand leaders are human and don't expect perfection. However, we do expect honesty about mistakes and acceptance of responsibility. The safety feeling vital to groups develops gradually through honesty and trust. Leaders have opportunities to model integrity for others. In 2009, Ralph Lauren Corporation discovered their Argentine branch's involvement in bribery. Rather than concealing this, company leaders informed American authorities and offered investigation assistance. Though this action resulted in over $1 million in penalties, the company preserved its integrity and stakeholder trust. Furthermore, after earning group trust, leaders must maintain it through relationship building. Whether with employees, customers, colleagues, or competitors, leaders need genuine connections to remain honest and focus on others' needs. Congressional leadership demonstrates how lack of bonding affects leadership. Until the 1990s, most Congress members lived in Washington, communicating daily and creating laws through close cooperation. Today, most live elsewhere, flying to Washington for brief periods. The result: congressional approval ratings at historic lows. When selecting your country's next leader at the voting booth, what factors do you consider? What personal qualities matter? What distinguishes them as leaders rather than ordinary citizens? Essentially, leaders create future visions that inspire entire groups to pursue. While individuals have personal goals, groups need purpose for cohesion, and that purpose emerges from the leader's vision. Consider Bill Gates as an example. His objective wasn't earning billions or building a great company. His dream was placing computers on every desk. This vision ensures Microsoft doesn't lose focus amid abundant profits and possibilities, remaining a market leader. Paradoxically, by providing future vision, leaders actually serve the led rather than vice versa. True leaders understand their duty involves serving their followers. Though leaders enjoy certain privileges, these come with enormous responsibility toward those they lead. During crises, genuine leaders will sacrifice personal resources for community benefit. This principle takes literal form in the Marine Corps, where senior members always receive meals last. This isn't agreement or order but statement. Leaders eat last. Only by putting personal needs last can they earn leadership status. The word leader contains its true meaning. You must guide people in specific directions, showing paths and providing purpose for the journey. On that path, leaders must follow at the end to ensure every group member reaches the destination. Authentic leaders prioritize group needs over personal desires, ensuring collective progress. Since a leader's vision motivates action, it's crucial these leaders serve positive purposes. Found these insights valuable? Hit like and subscribe for book summaries that could transform your thinking. The purchase link for Leaders Eat Last is waiting in the description, and we're curious, which of these concepts resonated most with you? Drop a comment below.